Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Chicane, where we, your hosts, Brinley,
and McKenna.
put the chic in motorsports.
Our goal is to bring the latest paddock pulp, provide in-depth and unique interviews with fans and your favorite F1 content creators.
And encourage you to learn about the sport in a fun and innovative way.
We hope you stick around and enjoy this week's episode, where we talk about Oscar's third race win, our Indycar weekend experience, and a very busy weekend in Singapore.
Yes.
I wasn't looking at my notes.
You're good.
So I was struggling through it.
With that, let's get revving. What are your P1s and DNFs? I'm so excited to hear your P1.
All right, my P1 is we went to Indycar this weekend. The Indycar finale, you could say, happened in Nashville, and I got surprised with tickets to go.
Yep.
And it was one of the best weekends of my life. It was so much fun.
It was fun. Do you want me to do my P1 too, or do you want to do your DNFs first?
My DNF, it's kind of same thing, just like a little bit of stress from moving and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start making a TikTok series about it, so I think that'll make it a little bit more fun.
Yeah. Put some joy into it.
Yeah.
You should keep doing like F1 stuff too, because I really liked the video with your sister. That was funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to get more ideas.
Okay. Well, I do it all the time, so if you need help, let me know.
Yeah.
P1s and DNF. I'm gonna do DNF first, but after the race this weekend, I got sick. So I've been sick all week. This was the first day that I like really felt good and like normal again. So that's just like a DNF. And I also had to go to class during all of that. So I just and I walk. So I had to walk across campus in the heat, sick, to go to my classes this whole week. So it just wasn't.
Okay. That like kind of happened to me too. On Monday, I had like the worst migraine. But I've recovered now, which is good. It was only that day, so.
Yeah. As for P1s, mine's the same. I found out about the IndyCar race literally right before we recorded last week's episode. So she had no idea, and I had to sit there without saying anything. But we went to the IndyCar race. We had tons of fun. We met a lot of other content creators. We got to talk to Track Talk Pod, which was great. And then we talked to some of the drivers, talked to David. That was really cool. Also, for all of the reality TV fans from here, I met and took a picture with Robert from Love Island. That was really weird. Crazy experience. But yeah, I think that's like the highlight. The race was actually really enjoyable, and there was a competition like between the top 3 different drivers on who was going to win, and based off of their positions, even if they didn't actually win the race, was going to determine who won the championship. So championship fight on the last race is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they took so many pit stops compared to F1. Like they had, how many laps was it? It's like 240?
200 laps.
Yeah, something like that. Because it was an oval track, but it was still really fun.
Yeah, it was really cool, and definitely, like, I was into IndyCar, but now I'm, like, 100%, like,
yeah,
we'll be watching every single race next season and keeping up with all the drivers. So, yeah. Super, super exciting.
And now we're definitely going to be doing a video for explaining how it works, so you can join along, too.
It was, like, it's kind of sad, because, like, yeah, we, like, would watch IndyCar and, like, talk about it a little bit, but, like, now we have this new, like, obsession, excitement for it, and it's over.
I know. But I was like, it actually is kind of nice, too, because, like, now we have the off season, and, like, after this race this weekend for F1, we are going on a break until Austin, so that's October 17th. Between now, that's almost, like, a month. So that's a perfect time to catch up on like old races, learn about the sport, and like that type of thing. So, and also it's nice to know like where half the drivers are now moving to, because they're at the end of the season and people are getting announced. So speaking of that, let's get into Paddock Pulp.
Yeah.
So F1 Academy is joining us at with Formula One this weekend in Singapore. We'll get into that later, but we do have a wild card entry with British driver Ella Lloyd for F1 Academy. So she will be thrown in there with them. It'll be really cool to test how she does in the F1 Academy cars. So always nice to see another female on track. Um, Speaking of IndyCar, Alex Palou won the IndyCar championship this year, and this was actually his third championship win. So that's really cool. And like we said, it was determined between him, Will Power, and Scotty Mack. So between their positions and the points throughout the season, the last race was going to determine who the winner was. And Alex took that championship, so that's pretty cool. And then Callum Elliott, I cannot say his last name right, so hopefully I said it right. And Prima Racing are coming back to IndyCar in the 2025 season. So if you're a fan of Callum, if you're a fan of Prima from F2 Academy, then that should be really exciting for you. Callum did used to race for McLaren IndyCar, so maybe you're a McLaren fan, missed the guy. He's coming back, so that's going to be super fun as well. And then Marcus Armstrong is moving to Meyer Shank for 2025. So we have some seat shuffling. And if you're wondering, like I was wondering, where David's going to, what is it called? I think it's RJ something. I'm still learning all the teams, but he's replacing Stingray Rob seat next year. So there's a lot of seat shuffles for next year. We still don't know where Alex Rossi's going, so if he's coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for Paddock Bowl.
All right, so let's jump right in and talk about last weekend's race. What did you predict for the podium?
I said
because we did bad.
We did bad, but like I look back on it, and we always do really good in one area. So I'll come back to that later. But I said Lewis, Lando, and Max as the top three, interchangeable, but as the top three.
Yeah, and I said Lewis, Max, and Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos,
which is so sad. Oh.
And then hot take for the race. I had double rookie points, which we got. So that's where I was right. And then I got Checo top 5, and I regret even speaking his name. So.
And then I said we'd get our first points of the season for a kick, and they performed as usual.
That's too funny. Also, I'm just gonna put this out there because I feel like it's not a hot take anymore. I adore Franco. He's so funny, and I really want him to be on the grid next year.
That would be so exciting.
Like, put him in the kick.
He's showing really great, like, that he deserves a seat.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Liam did last year.
Yeah.
But I hope that they don't have to wait too much longer.
The rookies have been really performing very well, and like that's what I love about the rookies. I love seeing new talent come in and see what they can do with even crappy cars. Like he did that in a Williams. Like we got double points
in a Williams.
Like that's crazy. I love it. What are your DNF predictions?
I said we'd have a kick and a V-carb DNF.
Okay.
And we had the V-carb. Yuki retired.
Yeah.
So.
And then I said 2 to 3 DNFs and a full red flag. Did we have a full red flag? I don't really remember.
We didn't have one, but we would have gotten one if the crash happened on an earlier lap, I think.
Yeah. And if you're wondering what that is, the crash was between Carlos and Checo.
Very sad. His radio broke my heart.
Yeah. I am not happy with Checo, but I usually am not happy with Checo, so.
Don't have anything nice to say, so we'll leave it.
Yeah.
But overall, besides that, I think we had a really good race. Lando was working his way up, and Oscar and Charles had a really great fight.
Yeah.
We love to see it. I love that cooldown room was one of my favorite cooldown rooms of the entire season.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that Oscar did well this race because last race at this track he was sick. Um,
Mm.
and I think he wasn't it food poisoning or something. I don't know. He was sick
Yeah, I think
somehow,
so.
and he only like ate four things of toast, and he still raced. And I was like, sir. So I'm glad he had like a good memory for this one.
Mhm.
And then yeah,
Mhm.
as we were just saying with Lando, like he qualified P17 and then got bumped up to P15 because of two
Yeah.
other disqualifications, or not disqualifications, but whatever. And he fought back up into almost the podium. So very, very nice racing from
Hmm.
Lando. Very impressed. He kept a cool head a majority of the race, and like he just slowly made his way up, and it was awesome to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Best pit stop.
All right. So our fastest pit stop was actually Kick. So they did something this weekend, and it was 2.32 seconds.
It's cool. I was looking at it early, like when that race ended, I was trying to see what happened, like who was all of the things. Um, and they didn't even have that up yet. They had fastest lap and driver of the day, but they didn't have the best pit stop yet. And I
Mhm.
was like, weird. Fastest lap was set by Lando Norris at 1 minute 45 seconds, 2.55. So,
And then our driver of the day, well deserved, was Oscar Piastri.
mhm.
And his team radio after winning is one of like the most he's ever emoted, and he like didn't even emote. He just goes, "Yes." And I love it. It tickles a part of my brain, and I just love it so much.
Also, speaking of our Papaya Boys, McLaren is leading the Constructors' Championship now for the first time since 2014.
Yay. 10 years.
10 years! And Lando and Oscar are leading it, and I am so, so proud and so happy.
It is well deserved on their
Uh-huh.
front.
So happy for them. To see them come so far from like the 2022, 2023 cars is insane.
All right, so this weekend we are racing Formula One Singapore Airlines Singapore Grand Prix 2024.
Yep. Welcome to the 18th round of racing for Formula One, and the girls are back on track as F1 Academy joins the drivers at the Marina Bay circuit located in Singapore. We are so excited for this race under the stars and the neon glow.
Yeah, and so as always, check your F1 app to make sure you have accurate timing. But for Central Standard Time, the race is at 7 a.m.
That's not bad.
So it's not bad, Just have your morning, making your little matcha, making your coffee, watching the race.
This last race was at 6, and I was already getting up for the Indycar race, so I was like, I'll just watch it while I'm getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
As for the length of this track is roughly 4.94 kilometers, which is 3.069 miles, and then it's at 62 laps.
And then we have 19 turns, 3 DRS zones, and 1 speed trap.
There we go. As for some quick history about this track, the Marina Bay Circuit arrived on the scene in 2008. The street track with the city's famous skyline as its spectacular backdrop, the initial circuit planned by Herman Tilke was refined by KBR Inc., while the event was quickly established itself as one of the standouts of the F1 calendar. So that's one thing that I really love about this track is that if you don't know and don't follow the social media teams of all the actual teams in F1, they release race week posters, race week graphics each week. We have a race, and the creativity that you see with the Singapore track is actually so cool to see. We see some that are like in the dark, glowing, like fluorescent and everything, and then you have others that are having the cool buildings and skyscrapers and stuff in the back. And so the creativity that you see at this track on the graphic design side is really cool, and I really appreciate it.
And we have a few special liveries.
We do.
We have V-Carb has one,
Mm-hmm.
which I have some thoughts on.
I do too.
I'll share them in a minute. And then Red Bull F1 Academy car has a
I was going to say,
special.
because Red Bull can't do it in their regular car.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Lando has a special helmet for this race.
Mhm.
And then both McLarens have special suits for this race.
How exciting.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk more about that in a second.
Yeah.
But as far as the track feels, the Marina Bay Circuit is one of the most physically demanding on the calendar. It's a bumpy street surface coupled with humid conditions, giving the drivers plenty to think about. Even after a 2023 layout change, reducing the number of corners from 23 to 19, they are working the wheel a lot, especially around the high speed of this circuit. The physical stress causes them to lose up to 3 kilograms in body weight over the course of the race.
Crazy. As for last year's podium, we had a Lando podium with Carlos winning, Lando P2, and then Lewis P3. And this is actually so sad because this is the time that we found out that he was moving to Ferrari and Lewis to Ferrari. And
he was a Ferrari girl.
I know. And Ferrari celebrated with him because George, which we'll talk about in a second, had DNF'd. So
oh yeah, Mercedes didn't go to the podium to celebrate with Lewis, and it was his first one of the season.
I know,
right?
Yeah. So Lewis celebrated with Ferrari.
That was really sad.
Wait, was that before?
He deserved better.
Was that before?
That was before he was announced, because he was only announced at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, then that was even before. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
But speaking of Lewis, he holds the lap record at this track with 1 minute 35.867 seconds, and he set that in 2023. So a very recent record.
Okay. And as I just mentioned, DNFs included George Russell, Valtteri Bottas, Esteban Ocon, and Yuki Tsunoda. Mm-hmm. So we had 4 DNFs. I remember this. I think George DNF'd on the last few laps, and that allowed Lando to get the slipstream from Carlos. And they were yelling at him on the radio, telling him, like, don't let Lando get DRS. Don't let Lando get DRS. And he's like, no, I'm towing him so that he can win with me.
Yeah. Well, he was also... I'm thinking of a different race when he was giving him the DRS so that the person behind him couldn't get it.
No, that's the same one, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I have this pop-up on my computer, and it's not going away, and it's, like, covering it. Okay. I think I got it. Sorry. Okay. Anyway. What are your pre-race predictions?
Hot take for the weekend? I'm gonna say, I need to think about this very, very strong. I'm gonna say only 1 Red Bull in the points. And then I'm gonna say that after this race weekend, we will get 1 more seat announcement. I'm gonna say specifically either Franco, maybe, or Liam Lawson. I'm putting that out, guys. That's my hot take.
All right. For my hot take, I want to say, like, we'll have someone on podium who, like, hasn't been on podium yet this season.
I like that.
Like we'll have someone new standing up there on the podium.
Okay. Announced. I'm putting it in here so that we don't forget it later. And then you said someone new on podium.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like that's not on there. A new face on podium. I am praying that whatever their plans are with next year with Williams, that Alex Albon gets a podium next year. I want him to get a podium. The man deserves it.
He really does. Did he get P6?
Yeah, they got P6 and P8, I think.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And then podium predictions. You just said a new face on podium.
You go
Are you
first.
going to specify?
No, that's why I have to think about it.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah.
My podium predictions, which is going to be such a shocker, guys. Lando.
I hit my microphone.
I'm going to say Lando win. He just came out with I think he's on a high this weekend. Like, the man is smiling again. He's happy again. He just announced that he's going to be doing his first grandstand in Silverstone at his home race next year for 2025. He just launched another thing with Quadrant, and then he has a custom helmet for this race. We've seen the theme of him doing very well with custom helmets. So last year he was on podium. I'm going to say this time he wins because I know he can do it again. Sorry, I'm just getting so excited. So Lando win. I'm going to say Carlos on podium too. We have not seen him on podium in a little bit. I love a Carlando podium, a little homage to last year. So just flipping them. So I'm going to say Lando, Carlos, Oscar?
Okay.
You were giggling so much.
I love the Orlando just does so much better with a custom race helmet.
It's true. Look at the past. Every time he has a custom helmet, it's like it energizes him more to win.
Okay, I'm gonna say I don't really know, to be honest. So I'm just gonna say we have obviously what I already said, a new face on the podium. And then a Mercedes and a Ferrari, and I say those only because those cars look so good during night races.
They do.
Like they just look so sleek and like so nice. So that's the only reason.
I'm not really feeling the Oscar, but I don't know who else I would put on podium.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a Mercedes.
It would be kind of fun, like an Alonso podium, maybe.
I love Alonso.
The Aston Martins also look really good at night races.
That's true. That green, oh my gosh. I'm gonna put Fernando on podium then. Just a little machine. What are your DNF predictions? We had 4 last year.
Okay. A Haas DNF. Kevin Magnussen is back.
Okay, I was about to ask
and
that.
He's here to wreak havoc. He doesn't have any more points against him because he's had his race ban. So I have some feeling something interesting might happen there. So a Haas and I kind of think of Williams.
I feel like this track though is so fast, and it being dark kind of limits their vision a bit, and that's why we saw 4 DNFs last year. So I'm gonna say around like 3 to 4 DNFs too. They were all kissing the wall last year. I remember it, and I think Charles crashed in FP1 last year too. I don't know, something like that. He crashed at some point over the weekend. Well, I did say 1 RB in the points, so either the other one performs badly or they DNF. So I'm just gonna say RB DNF. Did you see the whole thing about them not being able to do a special livery?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have to fully focus on the car.
Yeah. Whatever. So RB DNF. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say Danny Rick DNF.
Doesn't hurt my feelings.
Okay, I'm gonna say Danny Rick DNF, and this is what fuels the Liam Lawson seat.
Mm. Did you see they didn't pit Danny last weekend until lap 50? And there was 54 laps of the race.
That's
Was
crazy.
it 56 laps? Like,
That's-
what type of strategy is that, VCAR? They've
um,
had some questionable strategies, and no one is talking about it.
True. I have two now. I'm gonna say Mercedes. Just one.
Hmm.
You have a Mercedes on podium. I have Fernando on podium. Technically, Fernando would be a new face. We haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. I'm feeling Mercedes and an Alpine. So I've got RB, Danny, Mercedes, Alpine,
Okay.
and then you have Haas and Williams.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably bound to be something. One of those probably
I
will
was
happen
gonna
at
say
least. So we've covered. We've thrown a big blanket out.
four of those are like the bottom four teams.
Yeah. We always pick on them when it comes to DNFs, I feel like.
Well, yeah, but we've also felt Ferrari DNFs before and McLaren.
Yeah.
I've even put out a McLaren DNF. Like,
So, I have two random questions for you. Well,
okay.
I guess we can talk about the V-carb livery. It's the idea was there and it's cool.
Yeah.
But I think it was supposed to be for the Austin race.
Hmm. That's what I was gonna say. I dislike it so highly for this race that I feel like I don't want to say I hate it, but I hate it for this race.
Yeah,
It
for
gives
Singapore, it's like that doesn't make sense. But if they had announced it for Austin, it would be like that's sick that you
that's
guys did
sick.
that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I don't love it, but like we just said, I love the idea of it for a different race.
Yeah.
I genuinely want to know what made them think, because this is the Singapore Grand Prix, and then we have Austin after this. So they know that it's coming, and why would they think that like Singapore, high class, under the stars, like would
Kind of
be a
feels like admin just posted it too early, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. What was your other question?
Do you think that Max is going to get another win this season?
Oh my gosh, he hasn't won in forever.
Because I'm starting to question, like, I don't think he's going to have another. I think he'll podium again for sure this season, but win?
That's a good question. Let me see what tracks we've got left, because he does well at specific tracks, but I'm worried about the Red Bull right now. I mean, we saw this weekend, if you're on social media at all, they were supposed to do a Singapore livery, special one that fans designed. They had a competition for it. And once they had put it on and weighed it, it weighed too much. So, for the car and with the driver inside. So, they're not doing a special livery at all. So,
Mm-hmm.
a little disappointing for everybody, including the fans that won that. We've got United States, Mexico, Brazil, Las Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi. I'm gonna
I feel like if
say
he's gonna win, it will be Vegas or Abu Dhabi.
that's what I was just about to say. I was gonna say the same thing. Vegas or Abu Dhabi, he would win. But
Yeah.
no. Maybe so two more races he could possibly win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um I'm trying to think of anything else that I would have asked you about. Since we're going into the what's it called? Since we're getting into IndyCar a little bit more.
mhm.
Um would do you have like a favorite driver yet?
So yes, I have a favorite driver.
Okay.
Okay. Colton Herta
Oh, we love
is my
Colton.
favorite. Probably a tie, really, between Colton and Pato.
Okay.
They're both just, I love them and they're so funny. And then third up there would obviously, we already talked about him, but David. I love just the whole Gen Z like wave of drivers coming up into like motors, like the higher classes, I guess, of motorsport, and
Yeah.
just seeing them because they're so much more like relatable
They're
and they have
enjoyable.
the same humor as like we do. So it's just so funny to see them, and it's so fun.
Guys, we've got to tell you something. So we went to this race. We had paddock passes. We got to talk to a few of the drivers. We talked to David. And later we're walking around the paddock and it's after the race. Like everybody's done. They're kind of just chilling out. He's just hanging around. So McKenna's
Just
like,
hanging
let's talk to
around.
him. McKenna's like, let's talk to him. And I'm like, what are we going to say? And she's like, let's ask him to do a TikTok for us. So I'm like, okay, I'm nervous as heck. I don't know. And so that hi honey. And so she comes up, she talks, she goes, hey David, would you be down to like film a TikTok with us? And he's like, sure, like what? Like he was like so down from the get. And and so I'm like trying to explain it to him. And I'm like, have you seen the trend where you're at somebody's concert and you're like, oh, I hope she plays Love Story. And they're like, girl, this is not a Taylor Swift concert. This is a so-and-so concert. And he was like, no. And I was like, great.
Absolutely not.
I was like, so basically, we pre-recorded something earlier and we just need you to say, this is Indycar. Like I just said, like how I said it. And then her and I are both nervous. So he's like, just like that, or I could like, and then McKenna and I are like, no, you can say however you want. He's like,
Well, I was like, yeah, like put some attitude into
put
it.
some attitude into it. Like, this is IndyCar. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what we were going for. And he says, this is like the third time somebody's asked me to do this today. I need to figure out what this trend is. And he looks at his media team. He said, write that down. We're like, okay. So he knows kind of what it is. So then I pressed record and I'm like, okay, David, go. Press record. And he goes, this is IndyCar.
Which I feel like it's only hilarious to us because we were there in the moment.
I feel like it's only funny to us because, like, when we looked back at it, we've tried putting it into the TikTok, and every single time, like, it just doesn't match the way that it should. And I love his enthusiasm, but we're gonna have to explain it next time a little bit more.
We'll post it.
Yeah.
And everyone go tag him. And
it
say,
really made our day though. Like
and
he
say,
was so down.
come on the podcast.
Yeah, we're trying to get him on the podcast with like IndyCar season being done for this year. Most of the drivers are kind of just gonna like go back to their regular lives, keep training. Pato will be driving in Mexico for McLaren for FP1, so he'll be in the paddock. I'm hoping that he's in the. I'm hoping that he goes to Dakota. But yeah, we don't know what David's gonna do, so I hope that he responds and maybe he'll join us on the podcast. That'd be fun. It cracks me up every time I watch it. He's so funny.
Yeah, if you would like to see more about our IndyCar weekend, go check out our TikTok because we've posted a couple things and have even more content coming.
Yeah. I was gonna say I have to post the other video of us in interviewing fans today.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel so bad because one of the audios in the interview was shot. Like you can't hear anything. So I had to delete it from the video, but they were wonderful.
There was one that we tried to do and cars were running. Was it that one?
No.
Oh, really?
No. Yeah. It was a different one, but the audio is still kind of funny, but I'm still going to post it because there was good conversation, so. Yeah. So make sure you follow us. It's Chicane Podcast on TikTok. Both of us post on there, as we're both Chicane. And then, yeah, we have a couple of posts on there. We are going to post some of the videos to our Instagram as well. Um, but yeah, that's probably the most that I can think of.
Yeah, that's it. We have this race, and then there's a 3-week break, and then
Yes.
we're in Austin.
And the next time you see me
So
will be, well, the next time you see me post probably on any social media will be in the paddock, not in the paddock, at Austin.
So, on that note, if
Yes.
there's anything you want us to talk about
In between now and then.
between when we don't have any races to talk about,
Yeah.
send us a DM,
Mm-hmm.
comment, just let us know. We'll see it.
Yeah.
And we'll try and work it into an episode.
Yeah. Well, don't forget that not only is F1 racing this weekend, so is F1 Academy. So tune into their schedules as well. You can see that on their website. And then you have access to it if you have ESPN or F1 TV, I think. So tune into the girls' race and then tune into F1 this weekend.
And I think this is this their second to last race for Academy?
Mm-hmm. I think their next race is Abu Dhabi.
Okay, they have 7 rounds, and this is their 5th round.
Oh, so they've got 2 more
So,
races.
yeah.
Yeah. So very exciting weekend this weekend. A night race. I always love night races. So.
All right. Well, with that, that's our checkered flag. Bye.